Hello, I'm Dan Harris, Chief Operating Officer at the CE Shop. Negotiating on behalf of your clients is one of the more important skills you'll develop throughout your career. It'll help save your clients money as well as provide extra benefit that may not have been captured without your help. When negotiating, the main goal is to create a win-win situation. In order to achieve this, you need to advocate for your client's best interest and get the best price at the most favorable terms. Be the buffer between each party and see the transaction through to a successful close. Next, know what's most important to your client in a negotiation. Make sure you understand their priorities. Look beyond price to terms. Keep your client's eye on the prize. Finally, try to discover what's most important on the other side. Ask the other agent what's most important. Offer what they want in exchange for what is most important to your client. While your negotiation strategy must be adjusted for each transaction, it's important you understand the following negotiation caveats and what tactics you should implement during the home buying process. Pre-approval letters. Remember, the lender should create pre-approval letters listing only the amount of the offer and not what your client qualifies for. If sellers know buyers can qualify for more, it harms the buyer's negotiating position. Buyer love letters. Listing agents should consider not sharing buyer love letters with the seller. These can leave licensees and sellers vulnerable to fair housing complaints. Escalator offers. To trump other buyers, buyers will sometimes put in what we call escalator offers. It usually reads something like, buyer to beat all other offers by $1,000 to a maximum of X dollars. Seller to share all competing offers with the buyer. The problem with escalator offers is that it tips the buyer's hand by disclosing their top price, also known as the cap. If the escalator offer is better than other offers received, the seller can simply counter it at the cap and decline to participate in the escalator offer. For some additional information on negotiation strategies, here is Sandesh Bilgi.
So I would say the importance of negotiation, specifically when it comes to real estate, is to make sure that we understand that it's a mutual benefit for a common goal. It must be a win-win with the emphasis on the win for the client. It's not a conversation, it's not a debate, it's not an argument, it's not a discussion, it's definitely not a battle. However, unfortunately, it can turn out to be like that. So we want to make sure that we're proactive, understanding from the very beginning what the outcome is, and that again is a mutual benefit for a common goal between all parties. I'm dealing with new agents all the time, and that's a question that comes up a lot is, how do we really strategically look at our negotiations? And I think the key word I mentioned there is strategy. And I wish I understood the strategy behind it when I first got started, which would be presenting the facts, really more importantly, taking out the emotional aspect to it. I think I personalized with it. I looked at this as if it was a victory or a chase, or that I was ultimately overcoming the obstacles to get the deal done. We talk about, chasing the deal. And so if I was able to remove that emotional component from it, and simple things such as not using the words me or we, and using terminology like they or my clients, and taking that emotional quotient out of it, I think that would be very helpful. As far as new agents, it would be setting the expectation and the tone early. When you get on the phone with that cooperative agent saying, okay, before we present the materials, what's the goal here? What's the ultimate goal that you and I can work toward? And I think if you set that tone, I think that would be a great facet for all new agents to incorporate immediately and early in their career. And I think the last point is, what's the end game? What are all the possible solutions? I think that would have been very helpful for me, is that obviously at the time, I just wanted to win. And I just wanted my client to get the home. But there are multiple ways that could end. And I needed to do a better job before I even spoke with the client to say, okay, this possible negotiation can end in a variety of different ways. What are all of those different ways? What are the possible solutions? And how can I make sure that I'm prepared to have that conversation with my client so that if they get emotional, I don't. And that's, again, me not personalizing with the situation. So I think when we talk about negotiation, specifically if you're a newer agent, is there is an intimidation factor. There's going to be times that you're going to be going up against, and I say up against, is the top producer in your market share. But keep in mind that you're not going up against anyone. As I mentioned, it's not competition. So because it's not competition and the end goal is for mutual agreement, there should be no intimidation because both of you involved in the negotiation process want the same. So if you can understand that, intimidation goes away immediately. But there's some things that you should probably do. First, mental mindset. You have to have the right positive mental mindset. You have to be ready when to communicate. Meaning, if you're going to be handling a negotiation, you shouldn't be handling a negotiation when you're in the middle of another meeting, when you're in the car, when you're in between other things that you're working on, when you're with the family, when you're negotiating another deal. Be in the right mental place and be in the right mental mindset to have that communication effective. I think that's really important. And that starts before the call's made. Be optimistic. Again, you know the end goal. So as a result, be optimistic. That's the direction that we're going to go. Make sure you understand that negotiation is different and separate from conflict, and make sure that there's a positive end. And you have to make it exciting. That's why we do what we do. You have to show up to be prepared, which means all your material has to be available. You have your comps. You have your strategic wants and needs from your client's point of view. You have all the materials that you need so that you don't have to go back after the fact. You need to use your active listening skills, utilizing the 2-to-1 ratio, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Part of negotiation is listening. What does the other party want? Let's not interject. Let's not cut them off. Let's not interrupt. Let's listen. Use our active listening skills. Ask for what you want. What exactly do you need? Is there anything else? What else could be helpful in this situation? Remember that you're always negotiating during your negotiation. And last, identify all the needs and address what your interests are on the party that you represent.
Before negotiating, you should become familiar with the terms that may be most important to both the seller and buyer. Feel free to pause this video at any time and jot these keywords down. The more familiar you are with the terms, the better suited you'll be to support your client. At the end of the day, negotiations are about finding a two-way street where both parties can cordially meet and come together on an agreement. So don't take it personally. Some negotiations can and will fall through. It's just the nature of the business. So whether you're representing the buyer or the seller, remember to stay focused on the objectives. Roll with the punches and don't get sidetracked by emotion.